extra information. Let's take this expression, which is part of the solution to this question, where we have 15 minus I minus 6I squared. During the process of multiplying, or we can say expanding, we got to this step where we have 15 minus I minus 6I squared. What if you have a question that says factorize this or find the factors or a factor of this expression? 15 minus I minus 6I squared. To find the factors of this expression, where you have a power of 2, or we can call it a quadratic expression, you have to factorize. That is, to factorize means to bring out the factors. You could be asked one of the factors or the two factors. Let's just factorize. To factorize, you can rearrange to have the negative 6I squared first. Let's write it by the side. Minus 6I squared minus I plus 15. This 15 has a positive. This I owns this negative. And this 6I squared owns this negative. You can have it like this and solve. Or you can solve this way. Most students will like it this way. You can also solve with this. When it comes to factorizing, the coefficient of the letter with the square or the power of 2 would have to be 1 if you don't have to multiply it by the constant. But here, the coefficient of the I square is negative 6. So we take the negative 6 and the 15 and multiply them together. We have negative 6 times 15. Minus 6 times 15 will give us minus 90. And we have to first find two numbers that will multiply to give us negative 90. Yet when we add them, it gives us negative 1, which is the coefficient of this I. It's easy at this point, 9 times 10 will give us 90. One of them will have to get a negative to get negative 90. And if you take them out, 9 and 10, for you to get negative 1, which is the coefficient of this I, when we add them together, the larger number would have to get the negative. That means negative 10. Because negative 10 plus 9 will give us negative 1. That's what you owe is more than what you have. Therefore, the values that will replace this negative I will be plus 9I minus 10I. So we can have this as 15 plus 9I, then you take negative 10I minus 6I squared. You've replaced negative I with plus 9I minus 10I. If you add them together, you get negative I. And if you take their coefficients, that's the number each of the i's carry, which are plus 9 and minus 10, and you multiply them together, you get minus 90, which is same as the product of 15 times negative 6. Hope you are understanding the puzzle in factorizing. We'll group them in twos. We'll take these two first. 15 plus 9i. What's common in them? You have 3 common in both of them. You can get 3 in 15 and you can get 3 in 9i. So we'll take out 3. Open your bracket. 3 in 15, or 15 divided by 3, you get 5. Plus 3 in 9i. That's 9i divided by 3. 3 in 3, 1. 3 in 9, 3. 3 in 9i, you'll be left with 3i. So you have 3i here, you close your bracket. You have the second set, which is minus 10i minus 6i squared. In 10 and 6, you have 2 common. And you have I in this 10 and also I in this 6i squared. So you have 2i common in both of them. But you don't just bring out the 2i because this 10i carries a negative. You bring it out with a negative. Negative 2i, you open your bracket. If you're very good with factorization and you're sure of what you brought out, you know what you will have in the second bracket will be the same as this. That you'll be having 5 plus 3i. So you don't need to go through the process of dividing negative 10i by negative 2i and also negative 6i squared by negative 2i. To just fulfill all righteousness, you have negative 10i divided by negative 2i. Negative divided negative will give you positive. That's why we have a positive here. 10 divided by 2, you get 5. I's will cancel out. So you'll be having 5 left. Then as regards dividing negative 6i squared by negative 2i, you have negative 6i squared over negative 2i. Negative will divide negative, it turns to positive. 6 divided by 2, you get 3. This is I squared and this is I. I squared is same thing as I times I. Then you have over I. This I will cancel one of the i's. You'll be left with one I. So that's why I in I squared, it will cancel this. You'll be left with just one I. And you know, 2 here 1, 2 here 3. And the negatives will become positive. They will cancel out. So you'll be left with 3i. That's why you have positive 3i here. Next, you pick one of these identicals. That they are the same, you pick one of them. Just the process of factorizing. 5 plus 3i in one bracket. Then we join these two, which are outside, in one bracket. You have 3 minus 2i, close bracket. We can see that we have these two values back. 3 minus 2i, 3 minus 2i, 5 plus 3i, 5 plus 3i. It's like doing the reverse of expanding. Factorization is doing the reverse of expanding. We now have the two factors. Hope you understand.